So our gospel reading this morning is a bit misleading because we get two verses from the middle of chapter 10 of Matthew, and then it skips some really grisly verses about I did not come to bring peace but a sword, and the mother will be against her husband and father and mother-in-law, and it's really the husband against mother-in-law one thing is easy to understand, but the other ones are they're pretty tough, right? And it skips those, and then it says, if you're going to come after me, you have to deny yourself, take up your cross. If you love your mother more, if you love your kids more, if you love anything more than me, you're not worthy. And then it jumps, get this, 9 chapters, and it says, and then Peter said, so it kind of, like I said, it's a little bit misleading. Behold, we've left everything. What's going to happen to us? And Jesus says to him, well, if you've left, whoever's left anything, you left houses, lands, family, whatever you leave for my sake and for the gospel, you will receive a huge blessing in heaven, 100 times more. 100 times more. And of course we read it, and we read it this way on this Sunday because this is the Sunday of All Saints. We're remembering all of, by the way, what does the word saint mean? It means a holy person. It's just the Latin word holy transliterated into English, so it becomes saint. In Latin it's sanctus, right? And as it gets moved into English, it becomes saint. But it's just the word for holy, a holy person. A saint is a holy person. And if you look, you don't have to look far among the saints to find out that there's not just one way to be holy, right? In fact, people who study these things, I don't, but I read their books. I read the books of the people who study these things. I don't have time to study this stuff. People who study these things say that one of the, how can I say this, classifications or qualifications of sainthood is uniqueness, right? Saints are always saints in some unique way, usually a way that sort of stands out from the crowd, from the culture of the time, right? And they often come in wax of saints. I don't know if they're a whack of saints, a whole whack of saints, right? So in the early days, we had a whole bunch of martyr saints, right? And then we had all of these scholar saints, right? There were all these brainiacs, the John Chrysostom, Basil the Great, just minds the size of Stanley Park, right? Big thinkers. And then we had these ascetic saints, these desert saints who would just do nothing but fast and pray, right? So saints come, they go, there's seasons, there's different kinds. And what a saint looks like today, what a holy person looks like today. What does a holy, that was a statement, not a question, wasn't it? What does a saint look like today, right? Well, look around. Look around. This is perhaps what a saint looks like today. At a time when it's actually really hard to be religious. Nobody gets it. People don't get. Why is it? You mean you're not watching the game Sunday morning? Why? You're going to church? Why? It doesn't make sense in this culture. It's almost, if you read some of the legal stuff about it, it's almost like having a handicap, right? It's like, Oh, and yeah, if you're religious, okay, well then we'll make accommodation for you, right? It's the culture we live in. And so in this world, in this culture, to press in, right? To be a holy person, right? To say a few prayers every day, to read your Bible, right? To go to church, to be morally upright, right? To not do what everybody else is doing for the sake of your conscience, for the sake of morality. This is what a saint looks like today, right? And probably 100 years from now, they're going to go back and who knows, maybe they'll be venerating Saint Robin, right? The treasurer of Holy Nativity, who stayed faithful to God, even though there was all this cultural pressure, all this pressure to be like everybody else, right? What difference does God make, right? The only way you're going to know the difference is you're going to have to push in and know God. Right? You have to actually have a relationship with God. It's not like automatic. It's not like a vending machine. Oh, I went to church. I put in $1 in the box for a candle and I lit it. Okay, God, I did my part. Come on, do your part. No, it's not like that. It's a relationship. It's something you grow in, you learn in. I was thinking this morning about, forgive me, Sunday morning, I should be praying more devoutly, but I was thinking about the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I was thinking, and, none of those players started at the Stanley Cup playoffs, right? Saints don't start by these awesome manifestations of the power of God. Saints, just like hockey players, start in the Pee Wee League, right? And it's okay to be a Pee Wee. Pee Wee, that means just the very beginning, like the little kids who play hockey, right? Because what? Have you ever seen Pee Wee kids play hockey? It's hilarious. It's fun. But you know what it is? It's hockey. And even the beginner on the road to holiness is becoming holy. You may not fast like great saints. You might not ever lay down your life in the arena and get gobbled up by lions and bears. Although if you walk in the woods without care, you might. You might not be a saint like the saints of some other generation, but you can be a saint of this generation. If you start where you are, give your life to God, where you are, with what you have. Devote yourself. See what happens. Because after Pee Wee comes Junior, right? And then Junior comes Minors, right? And it's just a natural progression in holiness. But you start where you are. And even to start, is to already be playing hockey. Already to be becoming holy. In the name of the Father, and the Son,